Okay, today we're going to do another, oops, wrong one. We're going to do another worksheet together, and then I'm going to assign you one, but I'm going to kind of go over some of the things so that you are prepared to do it a little bit better. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our sentence and the way it's supposed to be, and find your, paper for Verde, and go ahead and pause this and make your circles. The instruction said there's 4 mistakes that you're going to circle. So go ahead and pause it and do that now. Okay. As I look at it, we'll see if you agree with me. First place to start, capitals and end marks. Nope, no capital. How about the end mark? Nope, no end mark either. There's 2 of the 4 mistakes right away. Wasn't that easy? Now, this one would have been capitalized because it's at the beginning of the sentence. But I also noticed that since it's a contraction of I and am, when I is all by itself, even in the middle of a sentence, it's capitalized. This one isn't capitalized, so I need to circle that one. I'm the speedier snake in the jungle, and I'm still turning green. Oh, you know what? That shouldn't be speedier. I think it should be speediest. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now go ahead and pause this, and you can rewrite this in correctly. I'm going to do it right now, but pause it before I get done because I'm going to go on right after I get done writing the sentence. All right. I suppose some real fancy people could have gotten into a video editing mode and just edited out me doing all the writing. And I bet some of you are going to say, I'm going to write the word still in italics. Remember we noticed that was in italics? Are some of you doing that? Or did you do it? I don't know. Okay. So there, I think I've got it fixed. I'm the speediest snake in the jungle, and I'm still turning green. Got all my fixes in there. Okay. If you're not done, pause it before we go on. All right. This next part says this. Add suffixes to the adjectives to show they are comparative or superlative. Now, when we think about things that are comparative or superlative, we're talking about saying how they compare to other things. If something is comparative, then there are just 2 things being compared with each other. And you're going to add an ER at the end of the word. If it's going to be superlative, you're comparing more than 2 things, and you'll use EST. So here's an example. Let's say that there are 2 people, and they are both smart, but one of them scores better on a test. Well, there's 2 people being compared, so I would say that one of them is smarter than the other. Okay, Bob is smarter than Bill. I used ER because there's only 2 things being compared with one another. They are comparative. You're comparing things. See why they have that? Superlative kind of has this word super in it because you're saying that out of all the things, the one you're talking about is the best one. Okay. So let's say that you have lots of people that took a test. One person got the highest score. So you could say he is the smartest, at least in that case, smartest. Okay. EST at the end of the word smart. And you could do that for lots of other words. Okay. ER, comparative. EST, superlative. Now, if you go through this, the first thing you have to do is figure out how many people are being compared. If it's 2, we'll use ER. If it's more than 2, then we're going to use EST. Here we go. Verdi was the of them all. Well, it's either going to be happier or happiest. Of them all, well, that sounds like more than 2 things, right? So I think we should do the happiest. Notice that to do that, they changed the Y to an I, and then they added the EST. Okay, let's go to the next one. Some of the snakes are older or oldest than him. Well, it's comparing some to him. Now, here's the deal. The some are all put together in just one group, so they count as one thing. So it's one thing and another thing, 2 things. So we're going to use the comparative. Some of the snakes are older than him. Now, here's where you can also use your ear, because sometimes your ear is going to tell you what's right. Listen to this one. Verdi was the happier of them all. Hopefully, when I said it that way, you thought, that sounds funny. Verdi was the happiest of them all. It sounds just a lot better, doesn't it? Let's look at this one. Some of the snakes are oldest than him. Hopefully, when I said oldest, it just sounded weird. Some of the snakes are older than him. That sounds much better. Okay, try the next one on your own. Verdi was smarter or smartest than the bottom feeder fish. All right. Hopefully, when you read that, even if you use just your ear, Verdi was smarter than the bottom feeder fish. Verdi was smartest than the bottom feeder fish. Hopefully, sounded better. Now, let's also look at this. We're comparing Verdi to the bottom feeder fish. That's 2 things, isn't it? When I'm just got 2 things, I'm comparing them, and the comparative is going to have an ER. Smarter. All right. Do the next one on your own. This is another one where they had to change the Y to an I. You ready? The 3 snakes performed the fancier or fanciest figure 8s. Go ahead. All right. Some of you might have done it by sound. The 3 snakes performed the fancier figure 8s. The 3 snakes performed the fanciest figure 8s. Well, the 3 snakes are being compared to really anybody else that could do the figure 8s. So it would be EST. They are the fanciest. So out of any figure 8s, theirs is the fanciest. So we use the superlative. Okay, it's the super figure 8s. Hopefully it also just sounded right. The 3 snakes performed the fanciest figure 8s. All right, look at the next one. This is something that we haven't done for a while, but we're talking about simple subjects and simple predicates. The simple subject is the one word that the subject is about, and the simple predicate is going to be the one word that tells what's being said about the subject. So let's look at this. I sure do like lizards, but lizards don't like me. Well, I is who the sentence is about, right? So the simple subject is going to be I. What's being said about I? I like lizards. So I'm going to underline like. Aha, but look, there's the word but. I think this is one of those that has 2 sentences in one. They have 2, I'm sorry, they have 2 clauses that are independent. They could stand by themselves. This could just say, lizards don't like me. So let's see. Lizards is what this one's about. Liking is, again, what is being said about them. In this case, though, it's saying it does not like, right? Okay. So, but like is going to be the simple subject or predicate. Okay. Let's try the next one. You were quick as lightning, and I climbed trees like they were nothing. Okay. You is my subject. That's who it's about. Were quick. Were here is a helping verb, so we're going to underline both as being our simple predicate. Ooh, but look at this. There's an and, so it's going to have another sentence. I climbed trees like they were nothing. Well, I is the subject. What's being said about I? I climbed. That's our simple predicate. All right, the last one. Try it on your own. The Greens rambled on and Verde settled in. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, there's an and, so we've got two independent clauses. There's going to be two subjects and two predicates. Go ahead and pause it. Do your underlining and your circling. Okay, hopefully you've done that, and here we go. The Greens rambled on. Well, who rambled on? The Greens did, so that is the subject. What is being said about the Greens? Well, the Greens rambled. That's our predicate or our verb. Okay? Verde settled in. Who settled in? Verde. That's our subject. What's being said about Verde? Verde settled. That's our predicate. All right. Hopefully you got that correct. Now, I am going to have you do this one all by yourself. Now, in order for you to do it, I'm going to have to do a couple of things, and you may have to kind of pause the video every now and then, because first I'm going to write down what the sentence should actually be. All right? So, okay. Okay, so here is the sentence the way it's supposed to be. I don't know, but it's hanging by its feet, chirped Flitter. So go ahead and pause the video and circle the 4 mistakes and rewrite it correctly. So go ahead and have your sheet for Stella Luna and pause it and do that now. Okay, now you should be done doing that part. If not, you'll have to go back and pause this. But let's go ahead and go to the second part. Look what it says. It says, apostrophes can be used to show possession or in contractions. Tell how each sentence is using the apostrophes by writing P for possession or C for contraction. Now, as a reminder, if it's being a possessive, it's going to have the apostrophe because somebody owns something. So a possessive could be something like it's, although they're going to have apostrophes, aren't they? Okay, that would be possessive. If it's going to be something like a dog, like the dog's bowl, possessive would be an apostrophe S like that. Sometimes there's going to be an apostrophe used, but it's because it's a contraction. And a contraction is going to be two words put together as one, like do and not can be put together in the word don't. That's a contraction. So, oops, sorry, I didn't have it on there. That's a contraction. Do not makes don't. So, the first thing that I like to do is I like to see Is this apostrophe showing me a contraction? Can I split this into two separate words? If I can, it's a contraction. If I can't, it's probably possessive. But I also want to check to see, is something being owned? I'm going to do the first one for you, but I'm not going to write it down. One twig was small enough for Stella Luna's tiny feet. Oh, well, it's just telling me that the feet belong to Stella Luna. Sounds like possessive. So I would put a P for possessive, okay, or possession, okay? Do the others on your own. Make sure you look for the apostrophes wherever they might be, all right? Okay, the last part says this. Correctly add quotation marks in the following sentences. Now, remember, a quotation mark tells you the part that somebody's actually saying. If it's not what they're saying and it's just who is saying it, then that part is not going to be inside of parentheses. I'll do the first one for you. Mother, Stella Luna squeaked, where are you? Now, the things Stella Luna are actually saying is mother. So I'm going to put that in parentheses. And Stella Luna is also saying, where are you? So that goes in parentheses as well. Read the other ones and try to figure out where the parentheses would go. I'm going to read them for you, and if you want to pause, you can. I'm not going to show you the answer, but you can pause it, and you can try to use how I said it to help you. The sun is setting, warned Flitter. Next one. I promise not to hang by my feet, Stella Luna sighed. The last one. Mother whispered, you are Stella Luna. Okay, remember, put quotation marks around the words that were being said, not the words that tell you who said it. All right, have this one done. I'd like to collect this one tomorrow when we are together again at last. And I'll see you tomorrow.